Good afternoon, meteorologist Mike Linden here, coming at you live from the MyRadar studio here in Orlando, Florida. We are now well into the month of May. It has just been a non-stop severe weather season. Aaron Jayjack, our own storm chaser, has put in a lot of miles covering all this wacky and wild weather across the United States over what has seemingly been the past several of months. But here lately, things have really ramped up. I'm sure you've seen on social media coverage, Aaron is right now in South Dakota, joined by meteorologist Matthew Cappucci, who will be posting updates on social media as the evening progresses. But I wanted to give you a look at what we are dealing with kind of as a bit of a table setter as things are really now starting to get going. We've already seen several severe thunderstorm warnings. A tornado watch has been issued this evening as well, as parts of the United States are under a moderate risk, that being a 4 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center, almost as high as you can go on the scale. We're talking a few tornadoes, large hail, but the number one concern out of all of this, as it stands right now, looks to be strong damaging winds, potentially upwards of 105 miles per hour at times. We're looking at a bit of a derecho setup here, meaning a big area, long area of widespread significant straight line wind damage. This part of the United States is no stranger to derechos, so this is something that we will be watching here as our evening progresses. We've got Aaron here, as you can see next to me, in eastern South Dakota. I was just chatting with him not too long ago, and he said nothing but sunny skies here right now, which of course isn't all that you want to hear when you're talking about the potential for severe weather. So we will continue to keep an eye on what is new in Aaron's world here coming up. Let me know where you are watching from. If you are watching on one of our social media platforms, we are simulcasting not only to the MyRadar app, but to Facebook, Twitter. We're also on YouTube as well. I've actually got the chat here right up in front of me. So if you have any questions for me throughout the chat, I will be taking some time to answer some of them. So let's jump right into the MyRadar app, if you may, Matt. I want to show folks what we are presently dealing with. So you can see I've got the warning layer turned on. I've turned off the fill shapes. That way you can see the individual severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, you can see right here over this point where South Dakota meets northeast Nebraska and western and northwestern Iowa, right here near Sioux City, Norfolk, and Yankton. That, of course, covering 3 states, again, that being Nebraska, South Dakota, and Iowa. And it is right now where we are beginning to see the line setting up as it works its way northward. Now, of course, with some spin and rotation within this line here, we could see a few tornadoes pop up, and it is for that reason, if I go into the layers menu here and turn on the watches, well, you can see that big yellow box to the north of it there. In fact, if I turn on the fill shapes, it's going to get wild here in a second, but there you go. That big yellow box here, that is a tornado watch in effect for the next 5.5 hours for any of those areas colored in by that yellow color there. Now, this is mainly South Dakota, central and northeast South Dakota, up until 10 o'clock Central Time. That, of course, the local time for South Dakota. The Storm Prediction Center calling for a few tornadoes, a couple of which could be rather intense. Now, how about this? I can't zoom in here on the app, but you should be able to see it there right on the right-hand side. Scattered damaging winds likely with isolated significant gusts to 90 miles per hour. I mean, folks, that is some serious wind. In fact, the SPC calling the storm, or rather the severe thunderstorm watch we saw earlier, a particularly dangerous situation. Normally, that is reserved for an active tornado emergency, but for the SPC to call a severe thunderstorm watch a PDS, I mean, that has the eyes and the ears of the meteorological world paying close attention to this area of the United States. So let's zoom on out here. I'm going to turn off the watches just for a moment. We're going to zoom out just a little bit, and I'm going to tap on the layers menu there, and right here at the top, I'm going to turn on per station radar. Now, this is a premium feature that is part of the Pro Radar pack, but you get so much cool stuff within it. So let's zoom in a little bit, and we're going to take a look at this particular line as it begins to fill in. So you can see the radar is based there in Sioux Falls, which is going to give us a good representation of what is going on, as this line is not too far away from the actual radar site. We'll begin to see the data get a little bit warped as it begins to approach the radar, but I want you to pay attention here. I'm going to zoom in real close. So of course we have the reflectivity, that being the line of storms to the west, but can you look right there at the base of the radar, the base of Sioux Falls there? You can kind of see the flow close to the surface working its way from south to north. That, again, is what we need. That is shear, and as long as that is present, that is why there is that risk for tornadoes from popping up. We've got the active line coming in from the frontal boundary from the west, and we have a south to north flow of the wind there in the low levels. So again, that is one part of the recipe for tornadic development. In fact, let's tap here on the right-hand side. This is where you can access all of the tools available in the per station radar pack, and I'm going to turn on velocity. This is going to give us a good idea of what we are presently seeing in terms of any particular rotation. Okay, looks like the data is just going to take a second to come in here, but it is a little messy coming in close to the radar site there. We might want to change to another radar site. Let's do Omaha. Might be a little too far away or close by, but we should be able to get an idea.
Can you see the screen?
You know what, we'll go back here, and I'm going to change. There we go. So just a different tilt level, but it should be able to let us see what is going on here. So you can see within the velocity scan there, green representing winds going toward the radar site, and red representing winds going away from it. So there is certainly some embedded rotation within that line if you look really closely as well, let alone the fact that the main line is coming in from the southwest. You can again see that flow coming in from the south. You can particularly see it right here if I pause it, right up here, the northern side of the radar return. So let me zoom back out and I'll play it again for you. Watch the flow and the motion in the atmosphere there. And again, you can see, at least here on radar, that we do have shear present. That is why you are seeing, especially there in Yankton, you are seeing the rotation. As it stands right now, these are just severe warned in terms of severe thunderstorms. These are not active tornado warnings. Of course, that can change very quickly, and that tornado watch area is just to the north of this line. This is not the end of things, folks, but it's certainly worth paying close attention to. There's a bunch of great tools within the Pro Radar pack here that you can access. I'm going to switch to one of them here. We'll go to Echo Tops. And what Echo Tops is it's essentially showing you how tall the clouds are that are present along this line. You can see the reds and oranges there. Those represent very tall storms. And you can see that this is well indeed a pretty nasty line of severe thunderstorms working its way northbound here. So again, that is significant of the fact that we know that these are some pretty powerful storms, as you saw from Aaron's shot not too long ago. Sunny skies where Aaron is, although starting to get a little cloudy, that's what these storms want. They want it to be nice and sunny, allowing for them to stretch out and get nice and tall. Of course, the taller the storm, likely to be more significant, could bring some very large hail along with those very tall storms. And on that note, vertically integrated liquid. This is a great tool that is showing us hail cores, and boy, there looks to be some hail within these storms. Of course, vertically integrated liquid, or VIL as you might hear it called, is showing us where within the 3D environment of these thunderstorms, if we are seeing moisture being held, again, in the vertical plane. Of course, that is the way convection moves, convection being the vertical flow. In the atmosphere, your oven mimics convection as well, with hot air or warm air rising. And this is showing us well within those storms where we might end up seeing some larger hail. So using the VIL product, for the folks that live here in and along I-90 there to the west of Mitchell, I believe that's in South Dakota, looking at VIL here, White Lake, Plankinton, they very well could be seeing some hail showing up right now just using that VIL product. So there's a lot of cool stuff within the ProRadar pack. Even if you are not a meteorologist or a storm chaser and you're just looking to learn more about the weather, you can really learn a lot just by browsing around at all these different radar tools out in front of us here. So there again, you can see the line, and I just can't get away from the fact that you can really see that flow coming in from the south moving northward there in the lower levels of the atmosphere. Meanwhile, again, reflectivity certainly shows us that that line is moving in, hustling in from the west. So you will likely begin to see that bending northward. Matt, how is Aaron doing? Let's take a look here at Aaron's camera. As it stands right now, there are no other chasers I'm seeing that are streaming into the MyRadar app. That will likely change as our evening progresses. Let's take a look at Aaron and see what he's up to. Okay. South Dakota, an absolutely beautiful state there, but you can see not too much is going on as it stands right now. Of course, Aaron has just been a road warrior over the past month or so. I mean, he just was back home in Canada, taking just a small break there to see his family, but he is back on the road. I don't think he'd have it any other way. He certainly loves to chase his passion, as he calls it. We also have meteorologist Matthew Cappucci, who is out and chasing things in South Dakota. Be sure to follow us across our social media channels where we are streaming right now. But if you look above my head there, Matt is posting a lot to Twitter and Facebook as the evening progresses. So be sure to look out for his updates. He's loving it too, being out and chasing these severe storms. He certainly loves to be on the front lines of things. But again, Aaron is there. We should have some chasers later this evening. Let me show you how to turn that layer on in the MyRadar app. So Matt, if you want to take this in full again. So what you want to do is go into the layers menu. Again, it looks like a stack of cards. Whether you are on iOS, Android, or Windows will all look the same there, that layer menu. We're going to scroll down a little bit to video/storm chasers, and all you have to do is toggle that on. And as chasers begin to stream, that is where you will be able to see them appearing on the map and then tap on them to see what they are up to. So I'll leave that layer on. As it stands right now, we don't have any chasers out there. But what I want to do here is zoom out just a little bit. We know, of course, that we are watching these lines of severe storms, particularly this guy here, pushing its way northward and along that triple point of Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. But what I want to do is go into the layers menu once again, and we are going to take a look at the winds. We give you two options in the MyRadar app. Winds at the surface, and then the winds upstairs, 500 millibars. We're talking the jet stream. So if you think of a marionette puppet, right? Down at the surface, I mean, or rather, that puppet is on a long string. Up there at the top of the string, the puppet master, that's the jet stream up there, kind of controlling things that are happening down at the surface. So right now, we are looking at winds at the surface, and you can see again that we do have that flow coming in from the south. We certainly saw that even on radar looking at the Sioux City area. You again can see this line really beginning to work its way in from the southwest and trying to turn its way northward there. Again, likely as to why you are seeing the severe thunderstorm warnings popping up along this frontal line, likely possessing some really strong winds with it. And we can see that here. If I actually turn off the radar layer for a moment, that blue and green, again, that's representative of much faster winds than are the purples around it there. So let's turn that line back on. And next, we're going to take a look at the air upstairs. We're going to go to the jet stream, 500 millibars. And this is going to show you what is happening at, again, way up there. Notice that flow coming in from the southwest as well as from the south there. It's a little different from what we are presently seeing on the surface. And meanwhile, if I zoom out a little bit here, you can see that this trough, that being this U shape, can you see it right there? That's kind of the center of it right there near Casper, Wyoming. So when we show you high and low pressure on a map, a low is representative of a trough. And the way that this trough is tilting, this is really, think about when you're swinging a baseball bat, right? And you bring that bat right around to make contact with the ball. That is what is happening right here, essentially right over top of South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, as well as Minnesota, this part of the world here, dealing with some really strong winds coming in from the jet stream upstairs. Of course, it's like the highway of the winds well above us. Now, let's jump back to the per station radar. I'll go back to Sioux Falls, and we can take a look at this line as it begins to develop. So as we do that, I'm actually going to take a look at some of your chat questions here. Again, if you are watching, we really appreciate it. Be sure to follow us across all of our platforms. You can see them above my head: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, download the MyRadar app on iOS, Android, on Windows, on Xbox, on the Amazon Alexa. We are everywhere nowadays, and we hear you folks out there that want that Mac OS version of the app. Hang in there. That's all I can say. Just hang in there. All right, so let's take a look here at some of your comments. We have a lot of people watching from Florida. Unfortunately, folks in Florida, not too much happening out there right now. Most of the attention is what's going on right now close to the northern tier. This is in the high plains. Got some folks watching from Pennsylvania. Shout out northeastern PA. Used to live there. Miss it. And again, if you guys have any questions for me, be sure to get them in the chat. Of course, we can also involve Aaron Jayjack. He may be a little tough to get a hold of, as he's certainly going to be trying to stay safe out there. But if you have any questions for Aaron, be sure to get it in the chat there. Matt, if you want to pull up the graphics here that I have in front of me, I just want to show folks one thing that I've got prepared here. So let me do this. Oops. Minimize the wrong window. There we go. Okay. So I've got the live radar here pulled up in front of me. Of course, we have the MyRadar app, but I want to show you here as well. I have right at my fingertips. So this pink, the pink fill-in here, that is the tornado watch that, again, is in effect for central, southern, and eastern South Dakota there until 10 o'clock Central Time. The main line is still to the south. It's just now starting to work its way northward. So as it stands right now, things are, good, air quotes, good. We're not seeing any tornado warned storms, but that could soon change. In fact, we'll do a quick look here at the velocity. That again showing us whether or not we have any tilt or any rotation. Let's zoom in right there over Mitchell. So, a little bit. Again, green representing winds going toward the radar site and red representing winds going away from it. So let me grab my pointer tool here, and you can see right in here we have some shearing happening. Whether or not that is good enough to put down a tornado still remains to be seen, as the environment is conducive for tornadoes. But again, the big threats that we are really paying attention to, and it seems that the Storm Prediction Center is issuing some strong wording for, are the potential for strong damaging winds. I mean, folks, I can't emphasize enough, as strong as 105 miles per hour. That is some strong, strong wind. We're talking stronger than some tornadoes, just from straight line winds there. So let's zoom back out here. And then what I want to show you is kind of the larger picture as a whole here. You can see that there are two areas of severe thunderstorm warnings, that being the yellow color here from Minnesota through South Dakota into Nebraska, into Iowa, and all the way into Kansas. And then we also have this area here that is in effect for portions of Canada, as well as Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I think I may have just seen our first tornado warning of the evening. Just let me double check here before we take a look at it. And it is indeed our first tornado warning of the evening. It is to the south. There it is. It is in Nebraska. So just to the southeast of Hastings, Lynn, Fairfield, you are in this tornado warning. Let's take a closer look at things. Stand by. That's how things go when you are live, folks. It develops rather quickly. So once again, we'll take a look at that velocity. We'll put it right on top here, and of course it's not grabbing it. That's fine. Might be because we are too far to the south. What we can do is actually look here in the MyRadar app, and it is actually really close to the Lawrence, Kansas radar, KUEX, to the south of Hastings. Folks in Glenville, Clay City, Fairfield, you all need to be in your safe place. Let's go and turn on the velocity scan here in the MyRadar app. And again, you can see that there is rotation present. Whether or not there is a tornado on the ground, you certainly need to treat a tornado warning as such. Let's take a look here. At the correlation coefficient. This is showing us whether there are objects being lofted vertically. This would be indicative if you saw what's called a debris ball, where the name kind of stands, it's self-explanatory. They're picking up debris and showing up on radar as such. I know that the CC looks a bit of a mess, but the good news is we're not seeing anything that really stands out on CC, so that is good. We'll jump back here to the composite reflectivity. Likely to be just embedded in this line here, but what we'll do is we'll actually jump to another radar site, being that that is very close to that radar. In fact, we'll have to use this Omaha one, whether or not we're going to be able to get a good reading there. Let's check it out here. So again, Glenville, Clay City, and Fairfield, you are not in this polygon, but you certainly want to pay close attention. Matt, if you can take the app here. I didn't realize that you didn't have that up there. Let's take the app and let's look at velocity once again. This is showing us whether or not there is any spin present. Okay, so if we can just show the app. I am on a bit of a delay here. Okay, y'all should be able to hear me now. Look at me, I'm sounding like Erica saying y'all. How about that? Yes, that does. Okay. So Matt, I can still hear you. All right. So let's take a look here again at velocity. I'm going to walk you guys through what we are looking at. It is, again, our first tornado warned storm of the evening. This is in Nebraska. Glenville, Clay City. You are in this polygon here. Let's tap on it. Get a little more info. You got 11 minutes left on it. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Ayer, 13 miles south of Hastings. So it's just radar indicated as it stands right now. And I can tell you from looking at it here on radar, it is a bit muddled, which is a good thing in terms of anything really coming out of this. But let's just look at all the products that we have available to us. This, again, the correlation coefficient, which is a new product in the MyRadar app, but it is very useful when you are dealing with severe weather. This is showing us whether or not there's anything being lofted vertically into the atmosphere. This would be pretty significant to show us if there was the presence of what's called a debris ball. Typically, you're seeing that for tornadoes EF3 and above. We're not seeing that right now, but you certainly can see a small signature showing up on CC, just indicative of the fact that that is a very powerful line of storms pushing its way eastward there. No telltale sign of a tornado. We'll take a look once again at reflectivity. This is all part of that larger line. Of course, certainly not impossible to see a tornado to develop out of this, but remember that supercells are kind of selfish. They want to be off on their own to get nice and big and nice and strong. They don't want to share what is available in the atmosphere with any of the other storms nearby. So if you're going to have to deal with severe weather like this, in some instances, it might be better to deal with the big lines of storms as opposed to that rogue storm off on its own. Typically produce some pretty nasty stuff. Let's jump back to this radar here. That storm is kind of passing over here over the last hour or so. Again, you can still see that flow coming in from the south. I'll turn on the wind so you guys can see that too. And that should give us a good idea of the way things are moving. So again, you look to the east of that line, and we have the winds coming in from the south, moving toward the north. Meanwhile, if I turn that jet stream on, that is just not the case. Let's go back to the winds and turn on the jet stream. Just takes a second here for the data to load in. You're going to see those winds coming in from the southwest, right? So we have some shearing happening, not super significant shearing of those winds, but enough so that we, again, do have our first tornado warned storm of the evening. We still have, tap on it here, we still have another 9 minutes to go on this tornado warning. That is that red polygon. So for the folks that are dealing with severe weather this evening, remember, it is best to have a plan. You do not want to be formulating that plan now. You want to have that plan well ahead of time. Know where that safe place is in your home. We're talking the centralmost location of your home. If you have a basement, that is going to be an ideal location. But if you do not have a basement, a centralmost location in your home is going to be ideal. Mainly limiting the amount of windows and walls, or rather eliminating the amount of windows that you have around you and putting as much house between yourself and the outside as possible. Thanks a bunch, Matt. Appreciate it very much. All right, so we have a bit of a swap behind the scenes here. Chris is going to be steering the ship. So Chris, what's going on? If you can hear me on Unity, we should be good to go. So for the folks, again, that live here within this tornado warning, you want to be in your safe place now. Good news is that this is radar indicated. As it stands right now, we are not seeing an actual tornado out of this, but we've actually got to jump north. We've got another tornado warned storm here to deal with, and that is here just on the south end of that tornado watch. It is not part of that tornado watch that is in effect for South Dakota there, but we are now starting to see why this area was under a moderate risk. So this is in South Dakota. We'll tap on the warning area. 36 minutes left on this, so that is until, where's the time there? Until 5:30, there it is, until 5:30 Central Time. So the clock you may be seeing on screen is representative of Eastern Time. That's where we are based here in Orlando. But this is until 5:30 local time. A tornado warning in effect for southwestern Lake County, eastern Minor County, western McCook County, and northeastern Hanson County, all in South Dakota. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Emory, moving north at 70 miles per hour. So again, you can see it part of this big line that's beginning to push its way northward. And we're going to use some of the tools available to us here in the Pro Radar pack to take a closer look at things. Let's look at velocity here. And I know this may look like a bit of a mess, but velocity is very important when we are looking at the potential for rotation. So the radar site we're using is here in Sioux Falls. Green is representative of winds going toward the radar site, red representing winds going away from the radar site. So when you begin to see, right there over the Emory area, can you see, I'll pause it right there, and we'll go to the end of the radar cycle return. Can you see right there? Again, I know it looks rather muddled, but that's what you're looking at when you're looking at radar data here. That is likely the area that the National Weather Service is really keying in on here. Again, not a super bright signature of rotation to see, but nonetheless, it is there. Let's take a look at some of the some more products that we have available to us. The correlation coefficient being another one. This will show us anything being lofted vertically. Nothing really standing out on the CC. That would kind of, honestly be surprising if we were to see that at this point in the evening. We still have got a long way to go with this severe threat. Echo tops, showing us the presence of a very tall storm there over Alexandria, Spencer, Salem, Canova, Winfred, Madison, Howard. You are all in this tornado warning for the next half an hour. Go back to the composite reflectivity. You can see that it's part of this larger line pushing its way northward. So, Chris, if we want to take the app side by side, let's take a look at what Aaron is up to right now. Okay, looks like Aaron is just chugging along, but seems to be a rather significant storm there on the left-hand side of Aaron's stream. There we go. So Aaron is likely approaching, this main line. Last we spoke with Aaron. Get the fusion check away here. He was near Redfield, South Dakota.
Just got severe warned.
So, Chris, do we have Aaron's audio? I cannot hear it. Yeah,
okay. Tracking it northeast. We go north for quite a long way, then we have good east-west options going on. We're in great position for this storm here. Coming through Orient, South Dakota, just got severe warning. I think this one could be the tornado producer, we'll see. It's kind of isolated here. Just north of the triple point, the low pressure.
All right. So we are watching that line as it begins to develop. As it stands right now, Aaron likely has a very busy evening out ahead of him. Again, meteorologist Matthew Cappucci is out there as well. We will be checking in with him as the evening progresses. Some really strong wording earlier this evening from the Storm Prediction Center, calling for potential gusts of wind up near 105 miles per hour. That's really significant, folks. Mind you, it's not every day that we see a particularly dangerous situation or a PDS issued by the Storm Prediction Center for a severe thunderstorm watch. That typically is reserved for kind of the worst of the worst when it comes to tornadoes, but for that to be issued for a severe thunderstorm watch, certainly something worth watching. So, Chris, if you want to take Aaron there to the side, we'll take a look again at the app and we'll let things go here. We still have that tornado warning to the south. That is in Nebraska. As it stands right now, if we tap on it here, we've got... That's going to expire literally in the next minute. So we'll see whether or not the National Weather Service decides to extend that tornado warning here. We will know in just a couple of seconds as that updates for us. But this is what we've been waiting for, folks. I mean, it was going to be a busy evening, and this is kind of just the start of it here. We will try to keep you guys updated as best we can, let alone here, live streaming, but of course, on the MyRadar social media platforms. You can see them up above my head there: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as YouTube. I hope that everyone that is watching is doing well and is safe. this evening. I feel as though, and there goes that tornado warning. Okay, I was going to say I feel as though people are doing a great job at keeping themselves safe during these severe storms, and we're starting to see that really, that people are really taking weather more seriously, which is a good thing. We've got another tornado warning now up over South Dakota. You can see that I've got them both on the screen there. Chris, if you want to take the app in full, you don't need me up there too. So this new tornado warning that does include Woolsey, Huron, South Dakota, this is part of that tornado watch area. So this is kind of the part of the world here that the SPC was really paying close attention to. And this tornado warning to the southeast of it, that is just outside of the watch area, but still certainly something to take seriously. Let's take a look here at this tornado warning. In fact, I'm just going to move the camera a little bit. We'll do that. Okay. So this tornado warning here, in effect until 5:45 local time, so that's another 44 minutes from now. That does include Beadle County in east central South Dakota. Once again, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, moving north at 70 miles per hour. Potentially some quarter-size hail in there. It's just radar-indicated rotation, so let's take a look at that for ourselves. We'll go into velocity here. Ooh, and I can see it. Can you guys? I will pause it right there. That right there to the south and east of Woolsey, just to the west of the Huron Regional Airport, is that radar-indicated rotation that the National Weather Service is keying in on there. Remember, red representative of winds going away from the radar site, green representing winds going toward it. So when you start to see that tightening there, that is indicative of some rotation. Whether or not there is actually a tornado on the ground remains to be seen. But for the folks that do live in Woolsey and here along I-14, and northward, you need to be in your safe place. This is, again, a tornado-warned storm. Let's take a look at some more products we have available. The correlation coefficient, going to show us whether or not we can see anything being lofted vertically. And that's just not the case as it stands right now. In fact, that's likely, again, part of that larger line. So we're not seeing tornado off on its own. This is all part of, again, that larger line. Again, if I turn on the echo tops here, you're going to see that line of storms that is pretty significant here. In fact, that tornado-warned storm at one point was one of the taller peaks there. Let's go back to composite reflectivity. Woolsey, Huron, folks that live near the Huron Regional Airport, you are under a tornado warning for the next 44 minutes or so, roughly. Meanwhile, we do have another tornado-warned storm to the south and east of that does encompass some more populated areas. Emory, Salem, Spencer, Canova, Winfred, Howard, Madison. This is all in South Dakota here, right? So you can see from up above here, it is very active for the folks from Sioux Falls all the way north and westward towards Ipswich there in South Dakota. Let's turn the radar back on. This storm is crossing I-90 as it stands right now, working its way towards Spencer and Salem. This is a tornado-warned storm, so for the communities of Spencer, Salem, Canova, Winfred, Howard, and Madison, you need to be in your safe place. That is 2 tornado-warned storms, part of this main line here. One thing I realize I have not shown yet, as things have started to get going here, we'll go into the weather outlooks, and I'm going to turn on the SPC outlook. I mean, look at that bullseye. Right? So a very, very large area of severe weather across the United States today. We've also got this little bullseye here, a slight risk. You can see some of those storms beginning to fire up as that flow comes in from the Gulf of Mexico, Mississippi, part of that slight risk. That's a 2 out of 5 on the SPC scale. But things get ramped up here toward the central and high plains of the United States. You have green, representative of a marginal risk, a 1 out of 5. Yellow, which is representative of a slight risk, or a 2 out of 5. Orange, which is representative of an enhanced risk, a 3 out of 5. And then this red color here, right in the center, that is a moderate risk, a 4 out of 5 on the SPC's scale. What we're mainly dealing with here are widespread damaging winds. That is a huge reason why, as to why the SPC has ramped up that risk area to a moderate risk. They've also expanded that risk area over the course of the day today. They are, I mean, folks, they're basically the Navy SEALs of severe weather forecasting. They are the best of the best, and they nailed it today in terms of where we were going to see active weather. So let's turn that off. We'll take a look again at these storms as it stands. 2 tornado warned storms, all in South Dakota. We did earlier have a tornado warned storm over Nebraska, but that threat has ended. How's Aaron doing? Chris, let's take Aaron up while I grab another graphic here for us to look at. It's kind of the way things are going to go this evening, folks. We are just going to be jumping around to quite a bit that is happening. We also, of course, have MyRadar storm chaser Aaron Jayjack, who is on the ground. Looks, oh, got some lightning and the rain. So let's stay here on Aaron for a little bit.
I think the base is back to the southwest though. Coming.
How you doing, buddy? No worries.
Oh, that was a good bolt. I missed it. Got base coming up behind me here. Wall cloud. Big hail. Wall cloud back in here.
Point out, oh man, a lot of lightning in that line, and it is likely about to get very, very windy for Mr. Jayjack here in just a moment. But I want to walk you guys through what those levels of the SPC means. Chris, if you want to take that in full here. So there are multiple levels, again, to the SPC. There's no thunderstorms, kind of like a 0 level, if you will. And then a number 1, a marginal risk that is rather limited. We are seeing that, but it's not the tippy top of where we're at today. Chris, if you want to take that in full, as long as the people can hear me there. A slight risk, that being short-lived and or not widespread, isolated, intense storms. An enhanced risk, that's that orange color. It's more persistent and widespread and could possess a few intense severe thunderstorms, a few tornadoes, potentially some damaging wind and hail. And then the 2 highest levels, moderate risk, that is where we're at today. Widespread severe storms likely, some long-lived and some intense with hail upwards of 2 inches. And then the high risk, we're not there today. That is reserved for kind of the tippy top of the scale. They're long-lived, very widespread, and particularly intense. It's that moderate risk that we are under today. So, Chris, let's take Aaron's camera back up here as things begin to get going. All right, so I am going to quiet down a bit, and we are going to let Mr. Jayjack walk you through what he is dealing with right now. That is in eastern South Dakota.
See what's going on back here now. The rain and hail's clearing out. You can see the base back here now. Still got southeasterlies up here. Look at, they're going left to right there. Yeah, there's big hail that way to the north. Yeah. Yeah, if you wait like 10 minutes, you'll be good. Here's the wall cloud, guys, right here. Updraft. Hey! That's why I tell that guy to keep an eye on this base back here while he's waiting out the hill. See if I can back up to him. Throw a piece of hail at this guy. Hey, just keep an eye on back here. This is the part of the storm that could produce a tornado back here. So
that's what they were saying on the radio.
yeah. So I'm just watching this right here. So yeah, yeah. I'm back here. This is the part of the storm that could produce a tornado back here.
Yeah,
So
that's what they were saying on the radio.
yeah. So I'm just watching this right here. So
There and all that.
yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna creep a little more. Oh yeah, looks good, guys. Wow, it looks nasty. Yeah, I think it's rotating in there. Hold on. Oh yeah. Keep an eye out, we might get a tornado. Ooh. Got the GoPros on. Wall cloud approaching my location here, north of Orient, South Dakota. It's too close. I need my 16 millimeter. Got a car coming. I gotta move. Watching that cell to my southwest too, back towards Pierre, as a possible target that'll move up to me. This thing isn't looking as good now. Got inflow into it. It is rotating. Watch me rotate right here in front of me. Obviously, you guys. Or it's good. Got an occlusion, clear slot forming. Oh yeah, nice occlusion forming, you guys. Gotta get some shots of this. It's actually moved away from me a little bit, I think, as its occlusion's carving it out. Looking a little more ragged now. There it goes, it's falling apart. That might have been our only shot at a tornado there, you guys. We'll see. I think the boundary's still to the north a little, so this thing goes a little north. Got a funnel cloud in there, maybe? Tucked in there? Wall cloud fell apart. I think I see new updraft, new occlusion forming to my south. Here. God, just withered away. Please. a decent looking base to my north. See if we can catch up. See a decent looking base to my north. See if we can catch up. See a decent looking base to my north. See if we can catch up. See a decent looking base to my north. See if we can catch up.
Things are really starting to get going now. We have a new tornado warning in effect. I've zeroed in onto here on the app. Aaron is actually right near that. He is in Orient, South Dakota. As it turns out, that is where meteorologist Matthew Cappucci is as well, in Orient, South Dakota. So go figure that both of our folks that are out there chasing what's going on have had a good idea as to where to go, and that is where they are, which is really close to this tornado warning, which I'm going to tap on it here. We'll take a look at it here. It's in effect for the next 25 minutes, in effect until 6 o'clock Central Time. That is for northwestern Clark County and Spink County in South Dakota. We're looking at Redfield, Ashton, Frankfort, Doland, Turton, and right there at the end of that scan, as of 5 minutes ago, is that rotation, the area of it that the National Weather Service is likely keying in on here. Excuse me. So let's take a look here at the composite reflectivity. You can see that it's part of this larger line. In fact, Chris, if you want to have Aaron's video up in a picture-in-picture there so people can keep looking at it. If you were just joining us, not too long ago, our own storm chaser, Aaron Jayjack, was looking at a wall cloud, which is representative of an abrupt lowering from the base of a supercell or of a severe thunderstorm. That is typically where you find a tornado. So I knew when I saw that up on the stream that I had an idea as to what we could be looking at here without even looking at the radar product. But now everything is kind of coming together. Bear in mind that this is still off on as part of this main line here of this derecho, possessing with it some incredibly strong wind gusts along the way. And look at how large this line is. I mean, stretching a good distance here, but it is this red polygon here that we are closely watching here. It is a tornado warning in effect for the next half an hour. Aaron's stream there is at the bottom of the window there, be coming in and out. In fact, I just spoke with meteorologist Matthew Cappucci not too long ago as well, and he should have an update coming soon on what he is looking at. But I know that him and Aaron are kind of zeroing in on this same storm, and that's why I am here talking to you. So let's take a look at some of the other products we have available to us. How about the correlation coefficient? This would show us anything being lofted vertically into the atmosphere. As it stands right now, not seeing anything of interest popping up there, which is a good thing, of course. This is, as it stands right now, just a radar-indicated tornado. And if we take a look at the echo tops, that is showing us the very top of these clouds. Of course, as you go higher into the atmosphere here at the surface, things get colder. Just look at a mountain with snow on top of it. And this is looking down at those storms and showing us which have the coldest or tallest tops. And right there, again, you can see that storm that is working its way toward Redfield and Frankfort that is showing us those really tall cloud tops. In terms of its hail, or the vertically integrated liquid, boy, this line has some hail in it, huh? The vertically integrated liquid, or the VIL, is a new product in the Pro Radar pack here in MyRadar, and this is going to show you it's indicative of a hail core being within a storm. Not necessarily a guarantee that you're going to see hail, but boy, if one of these cores is passing over the top of you, there's certainly a good possibility. Let's go back to the composite reflectivity. Excellent. And you know what? Actually, let's go back to velocity. You can see that there is certainly some spin in this storm, but it's still kind of muddled. That's definitely a good thing when you're talking about a tornado. We'd rather not deal with the tornadoes, of course. And it looks like we are about to see another tornado warning here to the east of this. So let's leave it right here. There it is. All right, so brand new tornado warning. It is this red polygon here. It's in effect for the next 21 minutes, that being until 6 o'clock Central Time. Southeastern Clark County and southwestern Cottington County, you are under a tornado warning for the next 20 or so minutes. This is radar indicated as it stands right now. Storm is moving at roughly 45 miles per hour, so we're looking at Naples and Clark. Those are the two cities that are noted in the description here from the Storm Prediction Center. So we're looking to see if we can find any rotation within these tornado-warned storms. Let me pause the loop there, and I'm just going to grab the slider here at the bottom. So you can see here in the southwestern corner of this polygon, just to the south of Frankfort there, that there may be some rotation, as well as up near Ashton. For any of the communities that I just listed off over the past 5 minutes, you need to be in your safe place. Even though this is, as it stands right now, just radar indicated, this is certainly an environment where things can change rather rapidly, as it has gotten rather dangerous here over a very quick period of time. And as this line continues to push its way northward, we're looking at additional communities in North Dakota and even Minnesota that may be affected. So again, you need to heed all warnings from the National Weather Service this evening if you live in any of these communities. Again, we're looking on this warning to the west, another 20 minutes to go until 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Glendale, Colony, Redfield, Doland, and Frankfort all need to be in your safe place. And then here we go. Let's get the animation moving here over Willow Lake. That's certainly a spot that is worth keying in on here. Let's take a look at the CC. You know, it's certainly not out of the question for us to see a large tornado, potentially one that is quite strong this evening. But we have not seen that yet. We have certainly seen a lot of spin, and I'll show you in just a moment as to why. But mainly the threat, and that has been noted by the SPC almost all day today, was the potential for some damaging winds. Earlier this evening, when they issued a severe thunderstorm watch for the area as a whole, they noted it as a particularly dangerous situation, or a PDS. Typically, you only see a PDS for some of the worst tornado emergencies, where they are really trying to get the attention of the people on the ground to let them know what is happening. But to see that for a severe thunderstorm watch with wind speeds upwards of 105 miles per hour, that is definitely something that caught the attention of the meteorological world. That is for sure. Let's zoom on out here. Again, we're looking at these two tornado-warned storms. In fact, Chris, let's take Aaron in full here, because it looks like he may be looking at that exact rotation that we are looking at. You can leave my microphone on here, Chris, but I am going to let Mr. Jayjack there do a little bit of the talking. So we continue with our coverage here of severe weather across the high plains in the northern tier of the United States. Nope, I'm still here, Chris. Okay, so we're looking at Aaron's feed here. He is staring right at this storm that we are looking at on radar. Of course, he's moving through a part of the world where cell signal is not as strong, but we are working with what we've got here. If there is also a silver lining in this severe, if there's also a silver lining in this situation, it is the fact that this is not the most densely populated area of the United States. So if we are to see some really significant weather this evening, hopefully it will not have a major impact for the folks on the ground there. Looks like we may have another tornado warning that's coming in here. Stand by. Yep, and it's all going to be right here within this same line. So Chris, if you want to pull the app up there in a picture-in-picture, we want to keep that up with Aaron's stream. I want to show folks where this next third tornado warning is about to pop up. I can walk folks through that tornado warning. So we are going to see this tornado warning momentarily pop up, man, right here. It's just a mess out there. Severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, a very active evening, and one where you need to be sure that you have your mobile device fully charged up here in case you are to lose power. And that's something that we'll take a look at as well to see if there are any power outages out there this evening, because with winds as strong as 105 miles per hour, that is certainly something we may run into this evening. All right, so there is that third tornado warning. You can see it wedged between the two tornado warnings that we are currently dealing with. It's got 28 minutes to go. This is until 6:15 Central Time. It is radar indicated as it stands right now. This will be near Garden City, Hillcrest Colony, Bradley, and Crocker here over the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's mainly this whole big line that is definitely going to be rather messy. Let's turn on the velocity and get a good look at that rotation within. There's certainly some spin here within this line as it begins to turn and work its way northward. In fact, let me zoom out for you here. We'll turn on the high-def radar here for just a moment. I'm going to zoom all the way out. Notice this is a very big line of storms, this derecho, as it works its way north and eastward. But you're now going to really start to see that portion that's over like the Sioux City area there begin to really pivot its way northward. And with that, you are getting those tornado warnings all the way up here, right? It's a big mess, folks. And if I turn on the weather outlooks, you'll see that that is right there in that bullseye of the moderate risk area from the SPC. That's a 4 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. So we're not done with things just yet, folks. It is likely to be a really active evening. In fact, another tornado warning, or tornado watch, rather, just issued for portions of, for portions of Minnesota and North Dakota until midnight tonight. Let me turn that on so you can see it. So where you're seeing the yellow boxes, those are tornado watches. We've got a lot going on, even some flood watches in effect too. But there is that tornado watch. You got another 6 hours to go on this, folks, with widespread damaging winds and isolated significant gusts up to 90 miles per hour, potentially 2.5 inch in diameter hail. Not fun. So again, let's take a closer look here at these 3 tornado-warned storms. I'll turn off the fill shape so you can get a good look at things. And then we're going to go back to the per station radar. We'll tap on the radar here right near Aberdeen. And that is the radar site that we are going to use to key in on these 3 storms. Those are all in effect here for roughly the next 25 minutes. We've got storm chaser Aaron Jayjack bearing down on this tornado-warned storm. And meteorologist Matthew Cappucci is also on the ground. He's providing updates on social media. We should have an update here from Matthew here within the next couple of minutes. But as it stands right now, we just want to be sure that those 2 are safe as well with where they are in South Dakota. So again, a trio of tornado-warned storms beginning to push their way northward here. We will come right back to those 3, and I want to show you, it's not popped up yet, but we are going to see another tornado-warned storm here for Nebraska in just a moment to the west of Omaha. This is kind of on the back line, interestingly enough. It hasn't popped up in the app, but I know that it is there. We'll be there in just a moment. Okay, we'll jump back to these 3, and I'll get back to that storm over Nebraska in just a moment. But we are watching this line of storms. That is where Aaron is this evening. That is where meteorologist Matthew Cappucci is this evening. We're going to switch back to the velocity, take a closer look at things. If you are just joining me this evening, folks, my name is meteorologist Mike Linden. I am coming at you live from the MyRadar studio in Orlando, Florida. We've got team coverage of this severe weather here occurring over the high plains of the United States. That camera that you're seeing in the bottom right-hand corner, that is storm chaser Aaron Jayjack. He is on the ground in South Dakota. And then across our social media platforms as well, you've likely seen updates throughout the day from meteorologist Matthew Cappucci. He is also chasing this particular event. Again, I encourage you to follow us across all of our social media platforms. If you are watching on YouTube, we would really appreciate it if you were to like this video, subscribe to the channel while you're at it. It's totally free. And click on that notification bell. That way you always know whenever we drop a new video. Of course, whenever we go live for coverage such as this. Hurricane season, folks, is just a couple of weeks away, at least officially. And we typically go live quite often during hurricane season. So to stay informed of what is going on, all things tropical weather, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. So we're still watching this trio of tornado-warned storms working their way through South Dakota. The good news is we're not seeing a significant amount of rotation here. This is, again, part of that larger line that is beginning to work its way northward here. One thing that we do know about supercells is that they want to remain kind of by themselves. With that being the case, they can get nice and strong. They don't share any of that available energy. But here we are likely about to see another tornado warning popping up there. I just want to make sure before we get to the fourth one there, I want to take a look at this storm here that is near Duncan, Platte Center, and Monroe. This is Nebraska, folks. West Central Colfax County and Central Platte County. This is until 6:15 local time, so roughly another 20 or so minutes to go on this. It is just radar indicated as it stands right now. That's really all we've seen. We have yet to see a tornado on the ground, which is certainly a good thing. Let's take a look at the velocity here within this storm. This, of course, green showing us winds going toward the radar site. Red representative of winds going away from the radar site. That will really tell us whether or not we are looking at something being, if we're looking at something rotating, of course. And as it stands right now, nothing really jumping out. Let me see if I can look at another radar site here. Looks like our best bet there might be, Omaha probably our best bet there. So let's take a look here at the correlation coefficient. Again, this is going to show us whether or not anything is being lofted vertically into the air. Not necessarily seeing anything there either. So we'll jump back to composite reflectivity. And again, this is kind of off on its own, but not seeing anything super significant jumping out at me. We're not going to ignore that one. We will jump back to it in just a moment. But here, over South Dakota, we are likely to see another tornado warning here. Let me switch to the Aberdeen radar. And that is the line of storms that Aaron Jayjack is on right now. We are likely to see just to the west of Redfield, or east of Redfield, rather. That is where the one tornado warned storm is. And then this next one is about to pop up here, encompassing Watertown, Florence, Kampesca. Just give it one moment, and that's going to pop up here. Okay, there it is, folks. So here's the latest on this tornado warned storm. This is in effect for the next 18 minutes. So notice how fast things are hustling here. This particular line is really moving. 70 miles per hour, folks. I mean, we're talking highway speeds. So this tornado warning in effect for southeastern Day County, northeastern Hamlin County, west central Grant County, and Connington County, all in South Dakota. This is until 6:15 local time, so roughly another 20 minutes to go. This is, once again, a radar-indicated tornado. In addition, train spotters have reported a funnel cloud. I think that's what we just saw not too long ago on Aaron's stream. But of course, a funnel cloud is the beginnings of a tornado. It doesn't become a tornado until the moment that funnel cloud touches the ground. It is then officially a tornado. We have yet to see that, but this is the first time this evening that we have seen that verbiage there from the SPC, rather the National Weather Service, that there is a funnel cloud reported in that tornado warning. So let's switch over here to velocity. And again, this is all part of that greater line really beginning to swing. Think about when you swing a baseball bat, right? And you're trying to make contact with the ball. If kind of the red field area here is where your hands are gripping the bat, well, just look at the way that this red line there, again, that's the rotation that the radar sites are beginning to pick up on there. That's the baseball bat, right? And if I were to switch over here to composite reflectivity, I mean, there is the baseball bat, huh? That is a nasty line of storms. So we've got a quartet of tornado warnings. And it looks like Aaron might be approaching that line there. So Chris, let's take Aaron's stream. And I'm going to step away here for just a moment, but we are still here with you as this active evening continues for the high plains in the United States.
clouds are moving northeast and southwest over here. And I'm like, all right. Deer just ran across the road.
What's going on, everybody? Meteorologist Mike Linden coming at you live once again from the MyRadar studio here in Orlando, Florida. I hope that you are safe and doing well this evening. Of course, we are dealing with a pretty significant severe weather threat impacting a large portion of the high plains of the United States. You can see Aaron Jayjack there is driving through eastern South Dakota right now, following along this line of storms. In fact, if we look at the app here, Chris, if you want to pull that up, we are dealing with numerous tornado warnings all along this line. The good news is, at least, we have yet to see anything come of that line in terms of an actual tornado reaching the surface. So there is a small silver lining there, but this is part of the world here that is under a tornado watch through this evening. Things are happening very, very quickly. I also want to shout out Theodore, who's watching on YouTube. Theodore, my man, thank you for that super chat. Apologies for missing that earlier. We are dealing with a lot here with severe weather. But Theodore, if you are still watching, shout out to that super chat. If you guys did not know, any of those super chats that come through YouTube, we do donate those. So big shout out, Theodore, for that. I think he was talking about the moderate risk area there from the SPC, what it looked like. He said a pear character exaggeratingly stretching his arms forward to offer a cup of coffee. I believe that he was referring to this, if I had to guess. I think so. That is the outlook from the SPC there. So quite comical there, Theodore. Appreciate it. Thank you again for that super chat. Let's turn this off and let's take a closer look at this line as it works its way northward. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active tornado watches. That is quite a few here. We are going to work our way from west to east. We've got this guy here for the next 26 minutes. That is impacting Day County, Brown County, Clark, and Spink counties. That is until 6:45 Central Time. Again, radar indicated at this time. Next, we'll work our way, this kind of on the back end here. This is expired, so that we'll get rid of the app. We'll get rid of that in just a moment. We've got this guy here, 11 minutes to go. That is for Day County, Clark County, and Cottington counties. Once again, radar indicated, and look how fast these storms are moving, 55, 70 miles per hour. I mean, we're talking highway speed. 10 minutes remaining on this warning. That is for southwestern Roberts County, Day County, Grant, and Cottington counties. Once again, radar indicated. Next, we'll move to this tornado warning. This is ongoing until 7:30. It says Eastern time here, but that local time will be for roughly the next 10 minutes or so. Again, a radar indicated rotation. And then this guy off on its own, the smallest of the bunch, 10 minutes to go. This is in Minnesota. So we have central, that is a tough name there, Laquipale County. Butchered that one. Apologies for the folks that live in Minnesota if I didn't get that right. And Swift County. That is until roughly for the next 10 minutes here, and that is radar indicated as well. If we take a look here at the velocity for all of them, of course, velocity going to show us winds going toward the radar site and winds going away from it. This is the radar site over here in Aberdeen, South Dakota, that I am using. So when you see the green, that is winds, again, going toward it, that being in the western direction, coming from the east and the south. And then you have that red line there. So again, this is just showing us one big area here of rotation. Again, that is just indicative on radar of a tornado. We are not necessarily seeing a tornado on the ground just yet. Aaron has been on that wall cloud here for a little bit now. You can see him pivoting his camera. Look at that wall. Woo! Or that shelf cloud. Apologies. We were looking at a wall cloud earlier tonight. Excuse me. That shelf cloud. And that is, he's right there on the edge of where there's likely to be some nasty winds coming Aaron's way. As we discussed, those storms are moving 55 to 70 miles per hour. In fact, it looks like, Chris, if you want to take Aaron in full now, it looks like he could be looking at a lowering there. Let's take him in full. Could very well just be some SCUD, which is an acronym for Scattered Cumulus Under Deck. A lot of people look at SCUD and they assume that it is a funnel cloud and tend to get a little worried, but it's kind of just like a little hangers-ons underneath the main cloud deck here. May not necessarily be the birth there of a tornado. We don't exactly know where Aaron is. Last we knew that he was in Redfield not too long ago. So he is again following this line. And we can see on the radar again that there is certainly rotation within that line. A lot of lightning as well. Just a really nasty line. Earlier this evening, the Storm Prediction Center issuing a severe thunderstorm watch for this area as a whole, and then issued a PDS along with that, a particularly dangerous situation. It's pretty rare to see that along with a severe thunderstorm watch, a PDS. Typically that is reserved for tornado emergencies. And within that PDS, they had mentioned that this particular event could possess winds as strong as 105 miles per hour. Folks, please understand, that is very strong wind. I mean, very, very strong winds. You know, if we are thinking here on the enhanced Fujita scale, you know, an EF1 tornado is 86 to 110 miles per hour. So you're talking EF1 speed winds all coming at you in a straight line. So this setup, certainly a derecho setup, that being a widespread, very long line of severe thunderstorms all producing straight line winds. And that seems to be what we are dealing with this evening. You can really see it on the radar there. That velocity really not hiding things. Again, just to be sure, we'll look at the correlation coefficient. This would show us any debris potentially being lofted vertically into the air as it stands. What you want to be looking for mixed within the red color there are kind of those blues, but it would certainly stand out. So the good news is here that we are not seeing anything significant being lofted vertically. That is a good thing when you're talking about the potential for tornadoes. Let's switch back to velocity here. And again, the red representing winds going away from the radar site, winds are rather in green representing winds going toward it. I've got the chat pulled up in front of me as well, so if anybody has any questions that is watching this live stream, I can answer any of the questions that you may have in this present moment. The good news is, from this event, that we have yet to see any confirmed tornadoes on the ground. Chris, if you want to switch back to Aaron's feed, though, we'll go back to him, and we will let Mr. Jayjack take over from here. He is right there on the line. I mean, he is the best in the business for a reason, and he is right there on that line as it works its way northward into South Dakota. Again, a tornado watch in effect through this evening for this part of the world. So, Chris, if you want to take Aaron in full, there we go. Is my mic clear, Chris?
want to see the storm coming from my southwest does when it hits this boundary. Donuts around these Canadians right here. What's up? I see a bunch of Canadians
Good to
here.
see you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Went to ship pretty quick.
Yeah, I was wondering what this storm off to the southwest here might do when it hits this boundary. How's it going?
How are you?
Hey, how's Jay Shannon? Corey?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going,
Pleasure to
man?
finally meet you.
Yeah, you too.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Good to see you.
Selfies with friends.
Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, nice to see you, Chris. Yeah. Some new tape. I didn't have time to fix it, so doing too much. No, Gorilla Tape. They're like that for 2 years now, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Tom, how long? I redid them a couple. They last about 2 years.
Just started coming off.
Yeah, they just last for 2 years. And then I gotta.
You guys should see the power line down. That's from the hurricane.
Yeah, I thought that was from the hurricane.
I actually originally hit a deer in a tractor at the hurricane.
You have that eyesight shit?
Yeah, so every time no, that doesn't bother it.
Okay.
But every time I get the windshield replaced, it's like separate.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And they wouldn't do it without it. So
It's crazy how expensive the beer is.
yeah, so.
Who are you with?
It's got pretty decent echo tops. Storm chasers here. Hey, you guys want to say hi to my live stream?
Hi.
Everyone's Canadian, right?
Yes.
This is the
just southern Manitoba.
the A team, right? The A team, eh? Getting wet out here. Enjoying storms here in South Dakota. Where's Shannon? Michelle's gonna come down. Shannon. She can't hear me. Michelle's gonna come down next week to chase with me too. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll run into you guys again.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some storms.
Yeah.
Maybe the high plains or something.
Yeah. How long is she coming down for?
Only like five days or so.
Hopefully they're
Well, if not, we're just gonna go camping and hiking and stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
this thing looks like crap, huh?
Yeah.
It's got pretty decent echo tops though.
Well, that little scud cloud has some curl to it. So,
Yeah, that's right. That's right on that boundary, I think.
Yeah. See what happens. You never know.
Yeah, probably not gonna happen.
You know what? I've seen lightning. I've like literally packed for like 4 hours last night. I felt disorganized.
Yeah.
It's well, that'll be exciting. So where would you guys go camping?
I don't even know.
No.
Wherever, maybe.
Colorado?
I like the Rapid City area, like the Black Hills and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yellowstone, or not Yellowstone. Mount Rushmore and stuff. He's going to get a better. I was gonna go get a better look too.
What's that?
I was gonna go drive up there and get a better look too. Really skinny updraft, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a look at it. See you guys. I'm gonna go get a better look over here. That's pretty soft. That's pretty soft.
Yeah, I just was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Have you guys seen it? There haven't been any tornadoes anywhere else, are there? Just warnings?
No, there was the one by Waterton.
It got confirmed?
That was the only, I don't know if it's confirmed, but that's the only thing I saw on social media.
Looks nice.
You saw it?
The pictures.
It looks good?
The stop and the whole truck just went.
For a leading edge tornado, it looks like really nice here.
It was just to the east of here?
Probably about an hour and a half. Yeah.
How long ago?
A while ago.
Oh, it's a while ago, yeah. Just on I-29,
wow.
basically.
Did it condense almost all the way down? Yeah. That was on the leading edge?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen what it looked like going through fucking Sioux City?
The squall?
Yeah.
Dang, is that like a haboob? Holy cow!
People are posting pictures of it's complete black. Like
Wow.
you can't see anything. Yeah.
Should have went to Sioux City.
Yeah. Just to ride it out for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's more exciting than this.
Yeah, totally.
It had a little wall cloud with a little occlusion going through it earlier.
Yeah, it did.
Back by Orient.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. I tweeted it. Let me go there. Yeah, here we go. Look at that.
Oh, that looks really good.
Yeah. A little occlusion in
Yeah.
there. It was a little wall cloud,
That's
but
good.
it was rotating, and it was just up down there by Orient. When that far west, northwest, south.
Behind it.
Yeah, you may have been back behind it. Yeah, I may have been it there. I thought I might do something, and then it just fell apart.
Yeah.
Went to nothing.
Yeah, the one to the southwest too for a bit. Like we were looking at this one, but back here looked really good too.
Yeah, nice. Huh. Might be time to go to Fargo.
Going to Fargo
Get some dinner.
for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna chase today.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bother with the next 2 days.
Yeah.
Wait for the next good trough.
Yeah. Canada's could be lighten up soon too. So.
Yeah, and it might be good this year because it's so wet
Yeah.
up there now.
Especially
In
up your guys'
Manitoba.
way,
Yeah.
fuck.
Manitoba
Any
might
warm
be.
fronts there? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's late June warm fronts there.
Yeah.
Pipestone.
Yeah, was Pipestone in June?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be nice. I gotta answer this. Yeah. Yeah.
How's the little one? How's Jet?
Yeah. You mean like devices or the modems on the live view? Yeah, there's two little modems on top of the live view that are plugged in, and then there's that square hotspot. And it says I don't know. I have a Verizon phone and it's connected right now. Where do I, on the hotspot or what? On the live view? What do you mean? Yeah, there says 3 devices connected right now. Yeah. Right? No. Just connected to the broadband hotspot. Maybe, I don't know, it pops up wanting me to connect. Yeah, it tries to join the AT hotspot, which is a square thing. No, my phones I'm usually using just cellular. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have everything plugged in, and I mean, I don't know where even to look at. Yeah, everything's on. says the hotspot says 3 devices connected now. A second ago it said 2 devices. 16.99 gigabytes of 5 gigabytes used. I don't know what that's all about. I think it always shows 5 gigabytes used. Right. 21 days left. That's what I see on this thing. Yeah. Hold on, let me look. I am Aberdeen. Aberdeen. 2 E's. Deen. All right. All right, cool. Later. Hey, Haboob. Yeah, whatever. All right, see you guys. Going to McDonald's. Hi, no, could I get a 4C medium with a Coke, please?
Anything else?
No, that's it.
The 81st one up here.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Joining us, I am meteorologist Mike Linden, coming at you live from the MyRadar studio here in Orlando, Florida. We just crossed the 8 o'clock hour mark here in the Eastern time zone. Chris, you can leave up myself and the app, and that way we can see Aaron in picture as well. But it has certainly been an active evening for severe weather. A moderate risk still in place over portions of the upper Midwest and the high plains. Let me turn on that outlook here. I'm using, of course, the MyRadar app, and you can see that red bullseye area. That is the moderate risk from the Storm Prediction Center. A 4 out of 5 on the SPC's scale. All evening long, we've had meteorologist Matthew Cappucci as well as storm chaser Aaron Jayjack out in the field chasing down these severe storms. Things are moving very, very quickly, I might add. These storms between 55 and 70 miles per hour in terms of their ground speed. Earlier this evening, a severe thunderstorm watch, in addition to a tornado watch, was issued. But this doesn't quite happen all that often. The severe thunderstorm watch, when that was issued by the SPC earlier this evening, in fact, now that you guys can see it, I'll turn off that, and we'll go into the watches and warnings, and I'll turn on the watches. So where you are seeing the pink color there, that is a severe thunderstorm watch. That does extend northward, and here you can see the tornado watches that remain in effect. But earlier this evening, the SPC had issued this watch and had called it a particularly dangerous situation, or a PDS. Typically, that is reserved for kind of the worst of the worst when you're talking tornado emergencies. It is meant to, of course, signify that we are in the midst of a particularly dangerous situation, you know, kind of like a tornado warning plus, if you will. That typically gets issued again for a tornado warning, not necessarily a severe thunderstorm watch. The issue was that with this line of storms here, a derecho, where it is that very widespread bowing out kind of line there, that the winds were expected to be upwards of 105 miles per hour. I mean, folks, that's EF1 tornado territory there in terms of these gusts that had the potential to take off. Really significant stuff. But the good news is that despite numerous tornado warnings so far this evening, we have yet to really see anything super significant. There has been some damage reported, but mainly to outbuildings. We heard of some minor damage to a school earlier this evening, but no such injuries nor fatalities. So again, silver lining in the midst of all of this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. You can see those red boxes here. Chris, if you want to take the app in full here, as long as people can hear my voice, and if you want to have Aaron's feed up in a picture-in-picture there, that way we can take him again. Aaron is, of course, he's in and around the Aberdeen area. That's right here. It's actually behind the line of storms. He's working his way north and eastward, but boy, these storms are hustling this evening. Anywhere where you're seeing a red box that is a tornado warning, there are numerous of them. There's about 4 of them I can see right here. We've got this guy that is in effect for the next 3 minutes, Marshall County. We then have this tornado warning that expires in 17 minutes. That is for southwestern Otter Tail County in Minnesota. So starting to see these tornado warnings creep into Minnesota, as well as in northwestern Grant County, Wilkin County, and Richland County in North Dakota. That is until 7:30 Central Time. Again, just radar indicated spin as it stands right now. Another tornado warning in effect for Douglas County, Pope County, and Chippewa County, as well as Stevens, Swift, and Kandiyohi County in central Minnesota. Stand by, folks. All right, just making sure that everything is coming at you smooth here this evening. I believe you should still be able to hear me. You've got Aaron's feed there in the bottom right-hand corner. Big shout out to Chris behind the scenes here, driving the show, if you will. But again, all these tornado warnings in effect for at least the next 15 to 20 minutes. We've got 1 minute remaining on this one here for southeastern Pope County. That's in Minnesota. If we zoom on out here and I go to the high-def radar, you can see that we're just now kind of right around that triple point there where South Dakota meets North Dakota, and Minnesota is now involved in this moderate risk area here. Things were somewhat quiet for Minnesota up until this evening. But as I mentioned, things are moving very, very quickly. Very powerful wind gusts out of this event. And we've got people watching in the chat. Big shout out to a gentleman who gave us a super chat earlier on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Got someone here in the chat saying that they used to drive by that area of South Dakota for a long time. It's where they grew up. Hey, thanks for the kind words there, Bailey. Appreciate it. Hope everything is good by you. So again, we're at the point in the evening now where we are still under this tornado watch. In fact, let me turn it on for you so you can see. It's the yellow color there. I know that it looks messy on the map, but there's just a lot going on. Now, Minneapolis, that being the city of Minneapolis, is under that tornado watch. That is up until midnight tonight, folks. So still plenty of time to go here on this tornado watch. Anywhere for that yellow color that does extend northward into Fargo, North Dakota, and as far west as Napoleon, North Dakota. Bismarck is not included in that tornado watch. Again, that is from Ashley, North Dakota to Fargo and into St. Cloud, Minneapolis rather. You are all included in that tornado watch until midnight tonight. Those red boxes there, those are current tornado warnings. So for folks that do live in a tornado warned area, you need to be in your safe place. Again, the good news is that as it stands right now, we are not seeing anything on radar that would indicate there is a tornado on the ground. What I'll do here is I'll switch to the per station radar. That is part of the Pro Radar pack in MyRadar. Right now I'm looking at the Aberdeen radar reflectivity, and if I tap on the little crosshair here on my right, I can switch to different radar tools. So let's take a look at the velocity. This will tell us whether or not we're seeing any spin present from these storms. And you can see the rotation getting a bit muddled as it works its way northward there. You know, bear in mind now that main line is getting ahead of that radar beam coming out from Aberdeen there. Green, of course, is representative of winds going toward the radar, and red is representative of winds going away from the radar site. So when you start to see kind of the two swirling, there's nothing really that's jumping out at me as it stands right now in terms of radar, in terms of rotation. But that is what would be your giveaway whether or not we are dealing with the presence of a tornado. If we key in here, I'll pause it here for a moment. Again, it's getting mixed in there with the purple color there, but kind of right here to the south of Brandon and I-94 there is a little bit of rotation. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're dealing with a tornado on the ground, but that is certainly something worth watching. I'm going to look at the correlation coefficient now. That's another product that is available to us. And this is showing us anything being lofted vertically into the atmosphere. So you can see there right at the end of the product return, right there where we were seeing that velocity, you're starting to see nothing that is really jumping out, bear in mind, but it is detecting some objects, at least there vertically. There's been a lot of dust in the air as well. If that were a true debris ball, as it's called, from a tornado, it would be really standing out at us like a sore thumb. But we're going to keep watching this area here. Again, for the folks that live in Brandon, Garfield, Millerville, Leaf Valley, you are under a tornado warning and will be so, or will continue to be under one for the next 12 minutes until 7:30 local time. This storm is moving, folks, 75 miles per hour based on the ground speed there. Holy cow. So interestingly enough as well, this is the point in the evening here where we're starting to see this line break down a little bit. Keep in mind that these storms certainly want the heating of the day. We're starting to lose that now, right? I mean, it's 7 o'clock in the evening for the folks in the central time zone. So we're starting to, we're on the back nine, if you will. So that will certainly help things, but it is certainly a juicy atmosphere. Let me zoom out here and I'll show you what I mean by that. We're going to go to the layers menu and turn on the fronts layer. And this is showing us here, this may be a little bit behind, but you can see that warm front there, that red line with the pips, as they're called, the half circles on the top of it. That's indicative of the way the front is moving. So that is a lot of warm air pushing its way northward. It's this cold front coming in behind it, as well as this boundary out ahead of it, the dashed line there, that is beginning to kind of swing in and northward. So kind of out to the east there and northward. And that is giving us that general movement of that line of storms. Think about it how you would swing a baseball bat, right? Making contact with the ball. That's kind of what's happening here, excuse me, on the leading edge of this front. So again, this is the storm that has piqued my attention a little bit. We're going to keep watching it. I am going to switch to, how about a different radar? Yeah, let's use Minneapolis. So there you go. You can kind of see it right there, right? Right in there. That is, again, the radar indicated rotation. That's a different storm. So we've got another storm there that is showing signs. So let's jump back down to this one here. So Belgrade, you are not in this tornado warning, but it is darn near close to you there. Let's look at the CC product. So again, you can see in the CC product, that again could just be this line moving forward, which has picked up a lot of dust as it's pushed its way northward. But there is some rotation, nothing again super significant, but enough that we are seeing little bits of spin. We're going to keep watching this storm as it works its way northward. Meanwhile, we've got this tornado warned storm. Let me switch to another radar site. I don't know if we'll be able to reach it from there. Yep, too far away. We've got to go back to Aberdeen. You know what? How about Sioux Falls? Let's go for Sioux Falls. So again, red is representative of winds going away from the radar site, whereas green represents winds going toward the radar site. So starting to lose that rotation just a little bit here in this storm, but you can see the pockets of it, right? You want to look for discrepancies in that red and green, which would be indicative of winds going in opposite directions, therefore rotation. Peek at this storm down here. We were getting a better picture there from the Minneapolis radar, so let's switch back to that. And everything just radar indicated right now. Aaron Jayjack still in South Dakota. He was chasing that line earlier this evening as those strong winds came in. We actually saw it live as Aaron ran into that shelf as it was working its way right toward him, bringing with it a lot of precipitation and those strong gusty winds. But you certainly don't want to let your guard down, even if it may look pretty near you, as it kind of does on Aaron's stream, mind you. We are still in the midst of a moderate severe weather risk from the SPC here. So if we go back and we look at this, again, you can see right there on I-94, passing into Brandon, some rotation, as well as there right over near Garfield. So again, in your safe place, that is the centralmost location of your home. A basement is ideal. If you do not have a basement, the centralmost location of your home could even be a bathroom, a hall closet, crawl space. You don't want to be on the second floor. You want to be as close to the ground as possible. And if you do live in a mobile home, remember, mobile homes become mobile. You do not want to be in a mobile home during a severe weather situation. That is why we always tell you it is the best to have a plan. You need to know where to go.
Hey Mike,
Okay, everybody, for those of you that are still with us, of course, there is still more severe weather out there this evening, and we are going to restart our feed here, and we will be back in just a few moments with the latest from Storm Chaser Aaron Jayjack. So hang in there, folks. We will be right back.